Alright, what's going on, guys? So it's actually like 9 a.m. in the morning, usually way earlier than when I usually film my videos. I'm actually today going to film a little bit of a day off, just vlog, going through what I usually do on my day off. My normal routine, when I eat, when I work out. I'll probably go for a walk today and just honestly me chilling. If I think of anything I want to talk about, just because I haven't filmed a video in a little bit, I'll probably talk about it. I don't know. I figured since I have nothing really going on today, I was like, you know what, I might as well just film a video, make my day a little bit more interesting just because I like filming for you guys. And so I actually, for breakfast today, got some, I got some tortillas, and then I got some beef, eggs, and then hash browns, and I'm gonna make a little breakfast burrito, which is different for me. Usually I just make like some sort of egg scramble with whatever protein, whether it's like chicken or ground beef I can throw in there, cheese, but today's gonna be a little bit different, so we're gonna see how this burrito goes. I've been doing a lot of ChatGPT recipes just to kind of spice up my diet and kind of expand my palate, just so I can start cooking, a diverse set of meals instead of just like the same meals every single day. It makes, I don't know, eating the way I do a little bit easier. So I'm excited about that, and we'll see how it turns out. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit nasally. I feel like I've definitely been sick the past couple days. Yesterday, it was definitely the worst. I guess 2 nights ago, so the night going into yesterday morning, I just basically got like no sleep. It's one of those nights where, every couple months I feel like I go through this, but it's one of those nights where, you're just tossing and turning and you're just staring at your ceiling and you just can't get to sleep. And like once I realize that in the middle of the night that it's gonna be one of those nights, I'm just like miserable until the time, I have to wake up just because I'm not going to sleep. It was pretty bad, and I think honestly, it was mainly due to whatever congestion I have. If I sound nasally, it's definitely just because I'm congested. It's getting a little better, but 2 nights ago, it was just one of those points where I was just laying down, and whatever was congested in my system was just dripping into my throat, and it was just making me have like a sore throat and an itchy throat, and going crazy. I actually did hit a workout yesterday. And I think I hit like a back bicep workout. Yeah, back bicep workout. I'm getting my days mixed up. So I hit a pull day yesterday, and despite only running on like 2 hours of sleep, I actually got a really good pump. I meant to film at least my posing footage because I'm at a new gym now. So a lot of updates for you guys. I've been doing a lot of traveling. I've been busy with some transitions to a new job that I have starting next year. I guess a lot of updates in this video, but I'm at a new gym now. I actually filmed a video a while back of me talking about how I'm gonna be transitioning and switching from my Anytime Fitness, which the Anytime Fitness I was going to sucked. And there's actually some footage I have of literally multiple times people coming up to me and saying like, hey, like, you shouldn't be recording, I don't want you recording, which I made a video about it that I never ended up posting, but I totally understand why people don't, want me recording. They don't want to be in the background. But this specific incident, I'm not sure if I'm gonna post it just like out of respect to that person, but this specific incident that happened, I was literally doing everything I could not to record him, and he still came up to me and said something. It was kind of a dick about it. So I ended up, because of that and just a compiling of other incidences that I've faced of people like basically doing the same thing, just getting pissed off that I'm recording myself, and really only myself. They just think they're in the background. I decided to switch to this new gym, and this new gym has a pretty decent posing room. Besides that, the entire gym is way better. They have all like pretty good equipment, a variety of equipment, and it's pretty big, so it's a lot of equipment. And so even when it's busy there, I don't necessarily have to wait on equipment, which is like a big thing for me. This Anytime Fitness that I was going to was super small, and I had to wait a lot of times for equipment if someone was using it, just because they only have one piece of that specific equipment. So that's a good thing. But this posing room is what I'm really excited about, just because for the most part, every single gym I've gone to has not really had a good posing room. And so obviously I want to take pictures and like update, you guys with how my physique is looking. and I can't really do that without like the best lighting. So this posing room's great. You'll probably be seeing more of it, but I may actually put some posing footage up right now just from like a couple weeks ago when I first got my membership. It'll just show, you know, how good the lighting is, and there's like a variety of different like settings that you can change the lighting to, you know, different like shades of light and then like the brightness, and so it's really good. So I'm excited about that. I've already taken some pretty good pictures and some updates for my physique. But yeah, that's kind of just the update with that gym. So I hit a good lift there, and I was intending to, you know, take a video of me posing yesterday, but it didn't end up happening because of course I forgot my piece that I needed to, you know, prop my phone up on my tripod, which I'm actually using right now. So yeah, I'll definitely get more footage of that going forward in the future, but kind of just going on a rant of just all the different updates I have in my life right now. But right now I'm about to prep some breakfast, so you guys will see a little bit of that. Hopefully it turns out pretty good. My plan for the rest of the day is kind of just chill after my breakfast, which I usually do, and then I'll go hit a lift. Right now I'm staying with my girlfriend like I usually do on the weekends, so I'm gonna be using her apartment gym, so we're gonna be makeshift here. I normally don't mind hitting a push day, which I'm gonna hit today, in her apartment gym, just because they have a Smith machine, they have dumbbells that I could do like shoulder stuff with, like lateral raises and whatnot. Smith machine, I could do incline press, I could do flat press if I wanted to, even though I normally don't, and then I could do shoulder press. And then they have a cable machine, so I can do triceps. So that's what I'm planning on doing today. Again, it's gonna be kind of a makeshift lift, just because, you know, I don't have everything I'm normally used to having, but it is pretty good for what I have. And then after that, I'm probably gonna go and get some steps in just because I can. And I think it's gonna be a nice day. I thought it was gonna be a rainy day today, but I think it's actually gonna be sunny, so I'm gonna go get some steps in. Probably film some of that, and yeah, we'll probably just go from there for the rest of the day. But that's you know, my plan, and that's honestly what I normally do on my days off, so I just figured I'd show you guys. All right, so we got all of the ingredients laid out here. I actually, just thinking about it, am gonna modify what's in the wrap here. So I have 1 pound of ground beef here that I could use, which I actually bought from Sprouts specifically for this, because I think ground beef and eggs go really well together, especially in a burrito. But my only problem is I don't have any like tin foil or anything that I can just put the ground beef in. I'm not gonna eat this entire pound, and I kind of just don't want to open it and then just have it sitting in the fridge if I'm not gonna eat it. So I may just save it, keep it fresh, and then instead just put more eggs in. And that honestly also saves me the extra effort of, you know, having to cook the ground beef, which can be annoying on top of, you know, just the eggs, when I can get just as much protein from eating an additional like 3 or 4 more eggs rather than just having the ground beef. It makes really no difference. It's just lacking in variety now a little bit, the burrito, but honestly, I'm making an executive decision here. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'll probably this weekend cook another meal with this, maybe like pasta or something with the ground beef. But I have also these black beans that my girlfriend has in the refrigerator, and there's a lot of beans here, so I figured why not just throw them in the wrap as well. So this wrap is gonna be kind of you know, a conglomerate of a whole bunch of different stuff that I've never really ate together before. We'll see if it tastes good. I think it will taste good. You know, anything with eggs and cheese, just kind of primaries everything else. It just takes over the flavor. So we'll see how the hash browns and black beans go together, but I think it'll be good. All right, so this is the final product. I'm not sure how well the iPhone camera is picking it up, but the tortilla definitely started falling apart, so that's what made it difficult for me once I was assembling it. But I would say for my first ever like breakfast burrito, I've never really made one in the past. It turned out pretty good, and I just had a lot of like leftover stuff. I would say that was really my downfall, was just making too many eggs and then first stuffing the burrito and it just started ripping apart. But for the most part, it doesn't look super, super bad. Again, this is egg, cheese, bean, and then hash brown in there. So not a normal combination that I would eat for breakfast, but it's still gonna be pretty good and it's gonna fuel my workout pretty good today. All right, so I just finished up breakfast. Right now I'm just chilling, waiting for my food to digest, just because that kind of was a lot of food. And I kind of just wanted to talk about like my breakfast. Usually I never skip breakfast. I know a lot of people do skip breakfast, whether their schedule and their routine is revolved around that skipping breakfast. If they go to the gym like in the morning, then I can understand why people wouldn't want to eat like a super big breakfast. But even for the most part, if I go to the gym like kind of early, I always eat like a pretty decent sized breakfast, just because I always want at least one pretty good meal in my system before I go and lift. Just because, speaking from like personal experience, when I've lifted on a fasted stomach, which I have like regularly lifted on a fasted stomach before, I always kind of just feel like flat, and I feel like I don't get a pump as quickly and as good throughout my entire workout, compared to if I have like a lot of calories in my system, or I have at least a pretty decent sized breakfast in my system. Then I feel like when I do actually go and lift, then I feel strong on my lifts. I feel pretty solid. I don't feel shaky, and I feel like I get a pump way quicker. So that's just me. I think it's probably due to the carbohydrates that you consume before your workout. Yeah, even if I have like a breakfast that's like largely based or comprised of protein, I still feel better, but I don't feel like that pump that comes on pretty quick throughout the workout, compared to if I had like a larger carb meal. So I think that's the main difference, is having some sort of calories in your system, and also a pretty decent amount of carbs being in your system as well. So that's why historically I always have just eaten pretty large breakfasts, and I would consider this one a pretty big breakfast. So that was a pretty big tortilla. I had 8 eggs, I had a pretty decent amount of hash browns, and then I had some beans as well, and some cheese. So calories wise, I didn't measure it. Like, I normally don't measure my calories, but I would probably put that at like at least like 600 to 700 calories, which for the most part, if someone's just having like a small breakfast, whether it's just like a bowl of cereal or like a yogurt or something, like that's not going to be substantial, in that it's not going to be dense with micronutrients, and it's also really calorically going to be like maybe 300 calories. So even though that is like comprised of carbs, I would say, breakfast with eggs and then a carb source, whether it's like toast or potatoes. In this case, I had tortilla and potatoes as my carb source, is always better than just a lighter breakfast like that, or no breakfast at all. So I kind of just wanted to talk about breakfast, and I've always just eaten big breakfast for some reason. Breakfast is just my favorite meal. I don't know why. I just love like most breakfast foods: pancakes, waffles, French toast, bacon, eggs, breakfast meats. So I always just love breakfast, and that's probably like my best meal of the day, every single day. And it's the meal I honestly look forward to the most. I know a lot of people don't really like eating breakfast because they're not really hungry in the morning, but I don't know why. I always just wake up hungry. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night hungry, and I just think like in that moment when I'm like half asleep, like, wow, breakfast is really gonna taste amazing tomorrow morning, and I'm literally looking like 8 hours in advance to when I wake up to eat breakfast. So I don't know why, but that's just me personally. So if you never really have eaten breakfast, maybe like try mixing it up and making some good breakfast meals so you have something to look forward to in the morning, because I think it definitely does make a difference when you go on to lift later in the day. And even if you lift at like night and like you'll have like a lunch or a dinner beforehand, having that extra meal, that breakfast on top of like lunch or dinner, so 2 meals under your belt, makes me feel even stronger and less shakier like on my lifts, like especially if I'm like benching or something, than if I had just like less than like 200 calories before I'm going to lift. So that's just me personally, but I figured I'd talk about it just because historically I really, just looking back on it, have ate some big breakfasts, and I continue to do so. So yeah, and I think that definitely contributes to a lot of like me feeling good in the gym, which if you're not feeling good in the gym, like even if you look good, if for long periods of time you're not really feeling good in the gym, then that passion for going to the gym and that consistency is just going to tank, because then like when you're thinking about being in the gym and you just have that negative connotation or that negative association with that feeling that you have in the gym, then you're never going to want to go to the gym. But if you're just always feeling great and like pumped up, which I think is largely due to those meals that I've had earlier on in the day, then I'm always just going to have a positive feeling about going to the gym, and I'm always going to want to go and stay consistent with it. So that's just some thoughts that I've had recently on that, and I think it's definitely, there's something to that. So now I'm just waiting for my food to digest, and then I'm going to go to the gym probably in like an hour. We're going to hit a little push day. I don't know if I'm going to hit chest, because when I hit chest this week, which I think it's Tuesday, was the day I hit chest, and it's Friday right now. I actually hit it like really, really hard. I hit incline Smith really, really hard, and then afterwards, I sometimes do this after, I don't know why, but later that night I was just bored, and I just like wasn't feeling, I don't know, I wasn't feeling the greatest about like where I was at, or I don't know, my headspace was just in a negative headspace, and I just decided to rip a lot of push-ups, and so I literally just did like 300 push-ups, and so the next day on Wednesday I woke up and my chest was like really, really sore, which I never really get like super, super sore anymore unless it's like a hard leg day. But yeah, so I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to really be able to hit chest hard later this week, so we'll see how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll do a couple sets of chest, and we'll see if I decide to actually go and hit chest, or I may just decide beforehand I'm going to do a shoulder and tricep workout and just leave out chest, but we'll see. This week has been pretty good with lifts, despite me being like kind of sick. So, you know, I can't really complain about that. So I actually decided to do a voiceover for this workout. I don't think I've ever done a voiceover before for any of my prior videos, but I figured why not try it with this one. So I don't know how much of the workout footage that I shot is going to be included in this video, but I'll probably it'll be like more of a raw footage style video, and I'll kind of just be talking over it just to explain to you guys my workout, you know, kind of some tips and tricks that I have for, I guess, shoulders and triceps, because that's what this workout ended up being. I think this is the week prior, or the week after that I recorded this, that I'm recording this voiceover. So I'm just trying to remember how I was feeling going into this workout. As you see me warming up here without a plate and then going into a plate. But I think my chest was sore going into this workout, so I decided to just do shoulders and triceps. This was the second push day that I was going to hit for the week, so I wasn't really too pressed about missing a second chest day. But you see me here starting out with shoulder press on the Smith machine, which I really enjoy. Honestly, I like the Smith machine. In my earlier part of my lifting career, I honestly was a big hater of the Smith machine. I don't know why I didn't utilize it as much as I do now, but specifically for pressing movements like shoulder press here, what I'm doing, and then incline press, I really enjoy it, which is actually what I hit today. I just like the feeling of just like having it locked in, and all you need to do is focus on pressing. You don't need to focus on stabilizing or anything. So yeah, I really enjoy this for a first movement, and I don't really have any for this specific workout, since it was my second workout of the week, my second push workout. I don't really have any specific, sets and reps that I was trying to stick to. I was honestly just trying to, go through a normal pyramid style of just warming up progressively, getting heavier, and then finally topping out at a top set, which I think my top set was like 205. Maybe honestly I didn't even hit 205. Maybe it was 185, but I do sometimes go up to like 205 for incline press. I'll do 225 as like a top set. But it's not really about the numbers for me. It's more so about how I feel, and going into the lift, how I feel, and then how I'm feeling during the lift. I'll sometimes modify and adjust the numbers that I'm gonna hit, and it's not really basis for whether or not the lift is successful for me. Depending on like the numbers, it's more so just how I feel. Did I get a good pump? And then just like taking a step back and looking at the broader direction that you're moving in, if you are increasing your strength, not just like by a workout to workout basis.
and just kind of being like too zoomed in and too focused on that one workout. It's more so, is the broader trend of you increasing your strength, is that present, or are you just plateauing and you're not really increasing strength over like months to months? Not really the single workout is not really what I focus on. So now moving on, I went straight to some lateral raises for shoulders. So this is one of my favorite movements, honestly, just for shoulder growth. And I feel like the majority of my growth that I've seen in my shoulders as of late has mainly, I would attribute it to this movement, me kind of increasing my strength on this movement and just the mind-muscle connection that I feel when I'm doing this movement. So usually I'll warm up with a little bit lower weight, so 15s, 20s, and then I'll move up to like 27 and a half to 30, which for some people really it may not seem like a lot of weight that I'm doing. Some people may like look at my physique and think I can do more, which can I do more of just like swinging, getting those cheating reps in? Probably. And I have heard mixed things of like, is it beneficial for specific movements like lateral raises to actually do that, kind of cheat, have like two different types of sets that you're doing, one where you're doing that strict good form and the other one where you're doing kind of a heavier weight and you're cheating a little bit. Yeah, I have heard that, and I guess maybe there's some value in that, but for the most part, the past like year where I've really put on some size on my shoulders, I really have just been doing that strict, good form, which I will go heavier at times, and obviously sacrifice the form a little bit, but I'm really not like going up to like 40s and 50s and just like swinging it, because I want to feel that pump, and I want to feel like I'm actually burning out my shoulders. So my top set for these right now will usually look at like 30s. Maybe I'll go up to like 32 and a half, but yeah, for the most part, I'm not really doing a lot of weight on this, and I've seen, great benefits from kind of sticking to that. So the next movement that I have is mainly just moving on to triceps. Like I said, this is a shorter workout, so normally in my shoulder workouts, I would hit a rear delt fly on the chest fly machine, but they don't have this here, so I kind of just skip the rear delts and I moved on to triceps. So here I'm doing a tricep push down with the V attachment, which isn't really my favorite attachment, but it's what they had, so I make do with it. Usually I like just a straight bar. Sometimes I'll do a rope, but even the rope, I feel like I'm always just adjusting it because it just doesn't feel like it's like even on either side. So this was what I had. So I was just making do with what the attachments that were available to me, what was probably the best attachment to use, and in this case it was this one. I think they do have a straight bar, but I don't know, maybe someone was using it or something, but yeah, so I did maybe 3 or 4 sets of this movement, and it felt pretty good. And then you'll see I go on to, here we go. So I did end up using the straight bar. Maybe someone put it back or something. I usually won't do more than one push down for tricep. Usually I try to do one push down, cable push down like this, depending on whatever attachment I'm using, just one push down in general. And then I try to do at least 2 overhead, just because I feel like I feel my tricep more on the overhead. And I'm not sure if it works the long head more or what, but you definitely need to, when you're working your triceps, do some push down, but then also some overhead, whether it's some skull crushers or you're doing overhead on cables. I think it's definitely valuable to do both types of movement there. But yeah, I definitely in this workout remembered I specifically like this straight bar better than the V attachment. So here you see me going on to do an overhead movement. So I think I do get a better angle on the camera of this overhead cable pull here with that V attachment, which I definitely do like. I feel like sometimes anytime I'm doing a tricep movement, I've always been a little shaky on my left elbow, so sometimes it's initially hard for me to lock out, but once I get that first lockout, like adjusting the attachment and adjusting the myself, I guess, to the movement, then I feel good, and my elbow's fine. But I definitely feel that on this movement as well as push down sometimes. But yeah, this attachment felt pretty good when I was doing it. And I think, yeah, it is the long head there. You can kind of see it pull every time I go up to the top. So I did a couple more sets, and then I went and finished with some dips. So normally I will do weighted dips if they have a belt, but in this case they did not have a belt, so I was honestly just spamming sets to failure on regular dips. So I think right now on my first set, if I'm fresh, I can literally do like 30 body weight dips, which is pretty good because I normally would not do dips when I would do push days like this. And I think it was only like in the past year that I started doing dips heavy. And I'm not really exaggerating it as much in this clip, but when I do dips normally, I usually do them with a lower chest focus. So you can do dips two types of ways. You can do them with a tricep focus by leaning back more and sticking your chest out, or you can do them with a lower chest focus and kind of lean over, and you can put your chin on your chest and that will hit the lower chest more, which I try to do because I think dips really are dips. I think it was Mike Mentzer that said dips are like the squat of the upper body. They work all different muscle groups. They work your triceps, your chest, your shoulders, and just depending on how you structure the movement, it can focus on a specific muscle group more so than the other muscle groups. So all right, so I forgot I did have this posing footage of a recording that I recorded in the aspect ratio that YouTube works best with. I forget what aspect ratio it is, but it's basically me turning my phone sideways instead of having it vertically, which is what you would record with for most Instagram Reels or like YouTube Shorts or something. So I don't usually record, with my phone sideways like this, but I think I just recorded it specifically for a YouTube video in the future. So this may have been like a week ago or something. I forget, honestly. I just had it in my camera roll. But yeah, this is a relatively recent, this is a recent physique update, which is good just because it's under, pretty good lighting. This is honestly what I've been looking for in terms of, a posing room, just because even at, I've only, I guess, really been a member at one really, really top quality gym that a lot of bodybuilders went to. And even that place did not have a good posing room. So I'm very satisfied. As you can see in the footage, it is pretty good lighting. I'm very satisfied with this posing room. So you guys are definitely going to be seeing more footage of it. I go in here pretty much after every single workout. I don't always record, but, I do like to, take progress pictures and videos outside of just filming for you guys. And I just go in here sometimes, even if I'm not filming, and I just, pose and whatnot, just because I think it's very beneficial if you are training in a bodybuilding, sense, that you go into the posing room and you kind of just practice poses just so you get a feel and you establish that mind-muscle connection for, different parts of your body. And a lot of the posing that I've been doing recently has been back related, doing lat spreads and doing, back double biceps, just because I feel like I have always struggled to find that mind muscle connection in my back. So maybe one of these upcoming videos where I hit like back or something, I'll do, because they actually on the other side have a mirror that allows you to see both the front of your body and the back of your body, how it's like structured. It's like angled a little bit, and it reflects back to the mirror that you see. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think it is that mirror that you see in the back. So you can see it's angled a little bit, but just how the posing room is structured, you can see both the front and the back. And I do like to see my back as I'm hitting the back double biceps. And so I have been practicing that just to kind of, get that mind muscle connection established, which I feel like I've been lacking with my back, and then also hitting the lat spreads as well. But I feel like just as a general update on all of my physique, I feel like I've definitely made strides in pretty much every single part of my body. So my legs have just always kind of outdone or been ahead of the rest of my body. And so this past year has really just been me trying to focus on my upper body and just catch that up to my legs. So I feel like my arms have definitely blown up. My back is definitely coming along, even though I would still say it's like one of my weak points. My chest, even though, I haven't really been focusing on it that well, has of course been coming up and still growing. I think that's definitely my strongest body part. And then my shoulders have been coming up as well. So yeah, I haven't even been like trying to cut back the calories, maybe a little bit because I've been trying to get some good pictures, but I really haven't been cutting back the calories that much. I've been eating clean like I always do, you guys know. But I feel like I'm definitely way leaner. All right, so I just finished up both my workout and my walk. I checked my steps. I walked about like 11,000 steps, so that's pretty good. As long as I hit 10,000, I'm honestly pretty satisfied, which during the week, I definitely do not do that. Maybe I'll have like one day where I'll walk on like the treadmill or on the Stairmaster during the week, but it's mostly on the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that I'm really walking heavy. But for the most part, I eat pretty clean. So despite not doing a lot of cardio, I stay relatively lean, and I'm pretty satisfied with how I look. But yeah, the workout was pretty good. I'll probably have a voiceover on it, so I won't go super in detail. But overall, I didn't do chest. I just did shoulders and triceps. And again, like I don't really mind doing a push day, especially when it's my second push day here for the week at this apartment gym, just because I already hit like one like really hard push day with every piece of equipment that I usually use and that I need. And so even if I don't use every single piece of equipment here at the apartment gym on my second push day, it's still better than nothing. So there was like a point in time where I was literally going excuse me. I was literally going maybe 2 or 3 months where I was only like lifting like 3 days a week, like 3 days max. And honestly, I mean, that's not terrible. It's better than nothing, obviously. But if my goal is to grow and to improve, then that's just not going to cut it. So I was really just plateaued, and that kind of just tanked my motivation to go to the gym because, you're not going to really be super motivated if you're not improving in any capacity, whether it's strength or like, your physique with bodybuilding. So I wasn't improving in either. And so, yeah, I was like, I need to break out of this kind of rut that I'm in. And so as soon as I started going, just sucking it up, just getting over that initial hurdle, because I was used to like 3 days a week. As soon as I started going like 5-6 days a week, then I felt awesome and I felt amazing. And it's crazy how quick it can make like a big difference like that in your life with your mood, improving your mood. So right now, one thing that on top of like probably looking the best that I've ever looked in my entire life, that's contributing to like my great motivation to keep killing it and keep smashing workouts in the gym is probably my little strength arc that I've been on. So I've never really been a big like compound lift guy, whether it's bench, deadlift, squat, even though at times I've done all three. But right now I'm on a little bit of a strength arc when it's in terms of my squat. So I guess the past like couple weeks I've been sticking to a 5x3 program for squat, literally just every single week doing 5 sets of 3 reps, and then just increasing the weight incrementally by 5 pounds every single week. And I've been pretty steady with that for like the past like month and a half. Honestly, maybe more, maybe like 2 months. But I've had no troubles like hitting the 5x3. And then as soon as I hit that 5th set of the 3 reps, I just stop. I don't go lighter weight and just go to failure or anything. I just go on for the rest of my leg workout. And this week was supposed to be 310. So 5 pounds shy of 3 plates, that 5 sets of 3. And I kind of just said, screw it. Like I want to just move 3 plates. For this 5x3, and I just said screw it, and I was able to do it like no problem. I didn't like get hurt or anything. I was good form. I was going like really deep, and I was just very satisfied with it. My legs are sore now, but I feel like that kind of was just a wall for me, being able to rep out 315 for like an entire workout basically. So hopefully I'm just going to keep going with that. I'll probably try maybe another week. Since I skipped, maybe I'll do one more week of 315, just like repeating that next week of the 5x3, and then I'll just keep it going 5x3, 320, then 325, 330. If it's working, why change it? But yeah, for the most part, that's what I've been doing for my legs. And my legs have always kind of been bigger than my upper body, but it's kind of getting to the point now where my upper body is caught up. So I may eventually have to change something, probably just in terms of my calves, talking about my calves, because my calves have always been pretty big and pretty decently proportioned to the rest of my body. But since my arms have been like kind of blowing up, I kind of need to, I think, start training calves more often than I am now, because they always say your arms should be the same circumference as your calves. And I think it's getting to the point now where my arms are starting to surpass my calves, which I never really had that problem before because my calves were just so big. But I think for the most part, my leg training, even though I haven't been training bodybuilding, like style isolated exercises. I mean, I still do leg extension and hamstring curls, but the primary focus is just squat and RDLs for my legs. And I'm only doing that once a week as opposed to everything else, which is isolated bodybuilding type workouts. And I'm doing it twice a week for the most part for each muscle group. So for now it's working for me, but I just figured I'd just run you guys through what I'm actually doing. And yeah, it's just all starting to come together. I think it's mainly just the muscle maturity, and it's just the consistency over the years. It's all just been coming together with the diet, and then just me being consistent in the gym. So yeah, I'm excited for what's to come. And yeah, it's very satisfying when you slowly start to see the pieces come together, and just all of that visualization over the years of like where you want your physique to be, it slowly starts to fall into place. And I mean, you see it every time you go in the gym. It's just slowly coming together in front of you in the mirror. And you know, you yourself recognizing that is the most important thing, but of course it always helps like when other people recognize that as well. So in this new gym already, I've already just started talking to people just because, you know, they appreciate other people's hard work. So, and they'll come up to you and tell you that. So I always appreciate that when people say that to me, and I probably should do that more often for other people. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I may add some other stuff if I end up going out tonight, just like not workout related, just me chilling to the video. But if not, yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace.